conversation in that, like a couple weeks ago, somebody tweeted a picture of you wearing a Clemson hat when you first got rolling. And I always think about that. I think about a guy that, Jim, has your perspective. You've been coaching for so long, had great success, but, man, I think we can never walk away and go back and reflect on who was that 23, 24,
Sure.
25-year-old coach. Can you just take our guys paying attention to this? Just who was that guy and how much have you grown inside that space?
Well, I mean, you continue to grow. You hear Mike Matheny just now talking about being a lifelong learner.
No doubt.
I mean, as soon as you stop doing that, it's over and done with, and you should get out.
Yeah.
And not in coaching, that's in anything in life, I believe. But
sure.
I just remember, I was a journalism major in college. I had no intention of being a coach. And my college coach, Rick Jones, who's an ABCA Hall of Fame coach, pulled me to the side and said, I think you'd make a good coach. You need to think about doing this. And so I changed my major. That's how much I thought about him, and immediately got into coaching. Actually, at the age of 20, I just finished my sophomore year.
That's right.
I wasn't a very good player, and just became a student assistant coach. And he threw me in the car, came to my first convention, and I remember sitting there, and you're watching Skip Bertman talk, and you're watching Augie Garrido.
Did you have a concept of who these people? Yeah.
I was learning that. I'm from Western Maryland. I was a way bigger basketball fan growing up.
Okay.
The ACC basketball than I was. I didn't know anything about college baseball. I didn't.
Okay.
But as I got into it, I watched the College World Series, and you knew who the great coaches were. But quickly just fell in love with it, and look forward to this event every year. And then just knew that the only way I was going to learn something, because I certainly didn't do it in professional baseball. The only way I was going to learn something is by watching the people that do it the best.
That's right.
The greatest form of flattery is imitation, and just watch what they do and read about it and learn about it and keep your mouth shut and your ears open and move and keep going forward from there. So and that hasn't stopped. Whether it be listening to Dan just now or having a conversation with Coach Pierce from Texas. I mean, I don't play golf.
Right.
I'm not a hunter, or I like to fish every now and then. I do this, and this is what I like, and so this is a hobby for me. It's not it's a lifestyle. It's not an occupation in any form.
Sure. Oh my gosh. When you're spending some time, I guess thinking about your perspective and your experience in the game, and certainly tremendous success. We can go back to that in a little bit, but a person that sits in the seats, listening to clinics, that has your perspective, and you've already gone through trial and error in a lot of regards. Now, certainly the new trends inside baseball is forcing your hand in some regards, I'm sure. But when you listen to clinics, when you pay attention to these guys talk, what are the things that you're really hoping to hear, or things that when you do hear, like your takeaways? How are you hearing these clinics different than maybe the young coach would at this point?
Well, for me, I'm trying to find different ways to say the same thing.
There we go. Okay.
And not that I'm not, if there are, let's say there's 10 things that you need to know.
Yeah.
And there's like 8 of them that I feel pretty good about.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to learn the 2 that I don't know anything about. But I'm with those eight things that there are core things, the core beliefs, core values, core. I'm trying to figure out a different way to say it, because I've been this will be my 16th season at TCU.
Right.
And as soon as my message as the head coach and the guy that oversees the program, and my job is to maintain the culture of the program and keep it moving. As soon as that becomes bland to the player, then I think you've lost them. And so to be able to say, some of the same things in a different way, or find a new way, whether it be with a video or a book or a presentation, a way to present that.
Sure.
Even if it's on baseball related things, even if it's on first and third defense, even if it's on infield play.
Yep.
That's my job, is to continue to evolve. And so I'm just looking for ways. Okay. I could probably say it that way, and if it connects with me at 48 years old, then hopefully it'll connect with the 18 to 22-year-old.
Wow. Obviously we got an opportunity, as most coaches have, to watch you guys play in Omaha quite a bit. Last year, different year for you. Can I go personal real quick? Just in terms of how were you challenged last year, the season, and obviously working, like you said, the caretaker of the culture, and refining it and fine-tuning it and getting it back for this year. How were you challenged personally last year?
Well, in a million ways, because just like Mike said, you can either look through a window at somebody else and say it's their fault, or you can look in a mirror and say this is on, and it's on me, and this was on me. Now we had some things that were outside of our control. We lost a ton of injuries. Our best pitcher, our best hitter. But every team can say that.
Sure.
The average teams, the bad teams, those are the ones that they point at those things and say, well, we didn't have a good season because of
that,
this.
no doubt.
And if you don't, we're going to have injuries this year.
Yeah.
I hope it's not like it was last year,
No
but
doubt.
we're going to have something, and our job is to navigate our way through that.
Yeah.
And so my personal challenge is, I had some things going on with my family. My wife's father was really sick, and I didn't do a great job of handling distraction away from the field,
Okay.
as well as I preach to our team to do that, and you have to call a spade a spade.
I love it.
And that's not, if you're going to ask your players to leave the bad test score or the breakup with the girlfriend or a sick family member in the parking lot when you come to the field,
You have to be that
You
person.
need to be doing it yourself.
No doubt.
And I've always been able to do that, but I didn't do as good a job of it last year as I could have.
Yeah.
And there's no question that reflected into our team. If we'd have stayed healthy, and I think we'd have still gotten to a regional, maybe played well enough to get to Omaha,
Yeah.
but that still would have been a factor. And I looked at our team at the end of the season, and I'm not afraid to tell you in front of these people,
Yeah.
I failed you. I failed you, and here's how I did that. And that won't happen again as best as I can handle it.
No doubt.
And so that'll be my focus. I'm going to do a better job of that this year.
So here's why I love that, because there's a 22-year-old coach out there listening to that, and he goes, oh, so humility and being humble and bringing it back and transparency, that's important.
Yeah,
and
and
hear that from you is huge.
Yeah, and to be self-aware. I mean,
No doubt.
you can't look to improve if you're not realistically aware of where you are.
Right.
If you think you're here and you're really here,
Right.
well then you're fooling yourself.
No doubt.
And kids see that. They see it. They don't care what you say. They're watching how you act.
Oh, my goodness.
And so yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid to say that, and that's because I want to have a good season this year.
No doubt.
And the only way to do that is for me to be better.
Yeah. Take us into, because I know obviously you're a program at TCU, just like with Coach McDonald at Louisville, a program that people are very interested in. Like I had a chance to swing by that regional and come check things out, and you showed me the ropes, and I'm going just to see, again, pull back the curtain on what's going on inside the locker room and team space and offices and all that. But for guys paying attention to this, the culture of the program. Give us a taste of what you really want exhibited and the standards in place there at TCU.
Well, we're just, and some of this stuff sounds coachy, and it's easy for anybody to say or put words on a wall or write down, but you got to live and breathe it every day. I'm just a big believer, first and foremost, of standards versus goals.
Right.
So if you ask any college coach walking through here, what's your goal to go to Omaha?
Yeah.
If you're Division I coach.
Sure.
If you're a high school coach, win the state championship.
Yeah.
So to me, goals are, and this is stealing from a book I read, goals are performance-based, standards are behavior-based. So you can't control some of those goals. They're performance-based. Your team may do everything right, but we know how crazy this game is.
No doubt.
But if you can control behavior, which then behavior affects habits, and habits affect routines, and your success
That's
of
right.
who you are is built on your daily routine and your daily habits. And so my job is to help our players become the very best version of themselves,
Right.
on and off the field. Give them every resource, coach them their way through that.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's punishment or kicking the rear end, and sometimes
doubt.
it's a hug. But if we can get them to become the very best version of themselves, then my job's going to be easy. It's not
Right.
going to matter what our bunt defense is,
Right.
because they're going to perform at their most optimum level. So our culture, we have 3 core values that we live by. We could go through those, but in reality, it's just help them become the best version of themselves, and then do that every day. And one of my favorite books, I make our team read this this time of year, every off season. It's called The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy.
Sure.
And it just basically says, would you rather have $3 million today or a penny compounded for 31 days?
No doubt.
And we all know you would choose the penny but even on the 29th day, you have less than $3 million. But on the 31st day, you have over $10 million.
Wow.
So it's just a matter of putting good days on top of good days on top of good days, and eventually we'll get to where we want to go.
Wow. Okay, last question I got for you. Obviously, this is a big year at this convention for TCU. Bill Mosiello jumping on the main stage, and I think, and obviously having him on the podcast was pretty neat. Not lacking passion, not lacking energy, so much so, and he opened a door for me that was one of how relational he is in terms of how moved by the players and their success and their journey and their path that he's motivated by. And Schloss, I got him to cry on air. Which
he'll if you ever want to see Bill Mosiello cry, and he's a tough guy, he's a passionate guy, have him talk about players.
It's awesome.
I mean, it's whether it be our players, whether it be Michael Trout, whether it be Robinson Cano, whether it be Todd Helton. And it's not because they're great players. I mean, it's because of who they are as people. And
Yeah.
he knows that none of us
Yeah.
can do any of this
No doubt.
without those kids.
Yeah.
And as soon as you really start investing in them and seeing what they're all about and seeing what their insecurities are, man, that's, that's special stuff. And so, yeah, he likes to downplay himself a lot and poo-poo himself a little bit on the stage, but he did a great job, and I'm so grateful that he's a part of our program at this time.
So awesome. Well, I know you got a lot of people to get to. We obviously truly appreciate you sitting down with us.
Yep.
Appreciate what you're doing for the ABCA and the coaching community, and best of luck this year.
Thanks. Appreciate all you do for the ABCA. So this is awesome. Looking forward to a great 2019.
Thanks, Schloss.